Takes place October 15th at Saginaw Valley State University from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. Ages 10 to 16 welcome. All youth must be accompanied by a registered adult. Learn how to become profitable.
I don't like the camera on me when I'm in here. So.
What's that?
Youth Health and STEM.
Yeah.
October 15th from 10 a.m. until 12:30 p.m. 3145 Russell Street in Saginaw. At the Youth Expo, you will find information on physical fitness, mental health, STEM activities, and more. The Wave of Light Pregnancy and Infant Loss Remembrance Day, October 15th from 6 until 8 p.m. at the Saginaw Township Soccer Complex, 3575 McCarty Road in Saginaw. This free community remembrance event for families who have experienced pregnancy and infant loss and their friends and family. Community organizers, please send your events to the KISS community page at least 2 weeks in advance. For more details and to find out about all the great events, log on to kisswtlz.com.
Let's be real. Mopping is a hassle. You have to fill the bucket, pushing a wet, heavy mop around, then cleaning the mop when you're done so it doesn't grow bacteria. A hassle on top of a hassle. Try Swiffer Wet Jet. With Swiffer Wet Jet, you start with a fresh pad and cleaning solution every time. And when you're done, you just toss the pad. Swiffer Wet Jet, the faster, easier, cleaner way to clean your floors.
Kick off your season with lower prices and exceptional trade-in values during the Kickoff Sell-Off Sales event at Showcase Mitsubishi Bay City. We have a great selection of new Mitsubishis and truckloads on the way. Are you stuck in your loaner lease? Showcase Mitsubishi Bay City wants to get you released, regardless of make, miles, or condition, so you can drive a new, more fuel-efficient Mitsubishi for less. Even if you've been turned down because of credit, Showcase Mitsubishi Bay City says, come and get it. We are the home of credit forgiveness, and you can get pre-approved up to $30,000, no social required. Drive home a new 23 Eclipse Cross SUV, just $349 a month, with the Showcase Mitsubishi 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Lower prices, exceptional trade-in values, and a better buying experience.
You get the email from Yvonne?
Mitsubishi Bay City, the home of credit forgiveness and America's lowest priced SUVs.
39 months, 10,000 miles per year lease. $33.90 due at signing plus tax, title, license, and dealer fees. Zero security deposit with approved credit. Offers not combined.
Culver's could have only started in Wisconsin.
Hi, welcome to Culver's.
Just ask our team member, Sarah.
When you order a Culver's Butterburger, you're never just a customer. You're a guest in our home. See, where we come from, people do right by each other.
Right.
That's why we cook each Butterburger to order just for you, right down to getting the perfect sear on the beef. That extra care may be a small town thing, but it's big time important to us.
Come on in and let us serve you with a smile that stretches from our hometown to yours. Welcome to Delicious. To everyone who craves a rich and creamy hometown treat, let our team member Nevaeh tell you how we do it at Culver's.
Every scoop of Culver's fresh frozen custard is made in small batches throughout the day. Because where we come from, the little things make a big difference. Like bringing back a seasonal favorite. Our salted caramel pumpkin concrete mixer and pumpkin spice shake are back for a limited time. Handcrafted with farm fresh dairy and real pureed pumpkin just for you. So it's the best part of your day.
And we mean the best. From
Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious.
COVID-19 is a severe lung infection. Trust the American Lung Association for science-based public health information, especially for the 36 million Americans who live with lung disease. We have resources to protect your lung health, access expertise from medical professionals, and peer-to-peer support through our online communities. Visit lung.org for daily updates.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Kiss 107.1 is WTLC Saginaw with Steve Harvey in the morning.
Mornings can't get no better. It's the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
And simply the best R&B all day.
Y'all be jamming?
Listen live on your smartphone, in your car, at work, or live at KissWTLZ.com. We're Kiss 107.1.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen. I'm excited to be here once again with you all, and I want to thank you guys for continually tuning in and putting us at the top of our target market audience. We certainly want to appreciate you. Thank you, Jackie Wade Day, for coming in. She says she is shared down in the Lansing area. Rebecca Townsend Garth, you were the first one in, so we celebrate you as well. But we're in the studio today, and we're going to have a conversation with one of our local entrepreneurs that you guys may, many of you may be very well aware. Saginaw SVRC Marketplace has a number of entrepreneurs that they are allowing space and I believe giving attention to the details of business and helping them to get started up. We have one of those small businesses with us today. My attempt was to make sure that we would have more, but we're going to have a conversation today with a divine taste of Chicago. They're doing it good, they're doing it well, and they're doing it right at SBRC here in the city of Saginaw. But before we get to that, Rob, what's going on, my man?
I'm cool, man. How are you?
Rob, you look real cool. I wish you all could see Rob. He's got his new little kufi on today. He's rocking it. We're rocking it, though, Rob. You looking good, my man.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so we certainly want to thank the rest of you that are out there. Thank you for tuning in. Let's like, tag, and share this conversation with others so that we can just be empowered and inspired to do great things. I want to get to right to the heart of the matter. Rob, let's talk about what's on my mind. I don't know. Did you have a chance or did you catch any of the debate between Raphael Warnock? Yes.
I saw some of it.
Warnock and Walker.
Yeah,
oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I saw some of that.
What were your thoughts, Rob?
Well, I'm prejudiced against Mr. Walker.
Why are you prejudiced against Mr. Walker?
Because he doesn't make sense. You know?
Brothers got to stick together.
Not necessarily. If they're not smart, they don't. No, they don't. I stick together with people who can intellectually stimulate me. He does not.
I was laughing. I just think that if you're going to be a politician, you have to be somewhat polished to be able to connect and have these conversations. And I'm going to put a disclaimer out before I say this. CT is a real serious issue. Athletes, in particular football players, because they get knocked around.
Explain that, please.
Okay, so it's the concussion syndrome, and so men who have played football tend to have these issues that linger with them if they've had a series of concussions. And I don't know what his situation is, but he looked a little foggy in those responses. I was like, my brother needs to get checked up, because I was like wondering what is going through this dude's head. Rob, so the story around him, for those of you who have not been listening, this is going to be so important in terms of how things shape up in politics. I don't know how you guys feel, what you're leaning in. I don't necessarily always endorse a candidate, but I do share my truth and what I believe to be the best for us in terms of what's happening and what's taking place. Ms. Day said his articulation is whack.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
We certainly thank
I'm
you.
glad you said it, because
we did have to say it, okay. but his articulation is whack. But when we look at it, Rob, what was interesting to me is Senator Warnock saying that there is a very clear choice. There's a clear choice between the two of them, and what I thought was interesting was that. Walker continually talked about how he was a man of God, he was a Christian, he was a man of faith. And then he proceeds, and I thought this was the craziest attack ever, to go after Warnock. Don't you have some back child support and some issues that are going on? And I'm sitting here like, dude, let's talk about issues, let's talk about substance. But talk about the pot calling the kettle black. How in the world do you
figuratively
speaking, but how do you even bring that up when your children, your son is on, going on national blogs and putting this, that you were never a good father, you were a poor father. So, we want to make sure that we are keeping this stuff fresh and keeping it going. I want to know this is my question. Honestly, the reason I brought this up, because Rob, this is my question, brother to brother, what is this thing that about the Republican Party that we're finding a growing number? I said it's a growing number of Black men being enamored with this party, with the Republican Party, understanding what's at the head of this party. What is it?
And the history of it, because the Republican Party of Lincoln is not the Republican Party that we went through in the 70s and 80s and whatnot. I think a lot of it comes with being disillusioned with the Democratic Party. I think the Democratic Party, I mean, I'm not party affiliate at all.
Absolutely.
I don't vote that way. But I watch the politics of certain things, and I say, well, between the two evils, I'll choose Democrat based on my needs and interests. I think a lot of Black Americans, not just Black men, but Black women too, have been disillusioned because the Democratic Party has not come through and promised or done things. I think one of our guests said that we did not ask them. I think it was what's the guy's name you have here all the time?
Bulls, yes.
He said we don't demand anything. We look at things, but then we don't demand anything. We don't demand anything of ourselves, of our party, and we don't hold them to the fire. And so we, as Black people, want to move ahead, but if the pot is easier to deal with the Republican Party, in spite of their sins, so to speak, then we'll go with that. And I'm saying me. I'm not saying me. I'm saying that a lot of Black people. Our people go with that erroneously, and a lot of them do not do their own history. A lot of them are just lazy. That's why they go for that sort of thing. That's why people like Kanye West, for example, is not helping.
Wait around. Hold on. We're gonna go there. Let's go there real quick. Let's make it quick, but go there.
Let's be fair, because I see this guy wear a T-shirt that says "White Lives Matter."
Absolutely.
And the things that he says, and then he embraces people like Mr. Trump, for example, a couple of years ago. And you're supposed to be a leader, and people looking up to you. How could you do this at the same time play on a different field of being, pro-Black?
Okay, so I want to ask y'all that question. Are we done with Uncle Kanye? He your uncle. He's not my uncle. We have seen this White Lives Matter shirt, and he's really about controversy. He laughs all the way to the bank.
Oh yeah.
And he creates this. But at what point do we as a community no longer stand for that? But I want to go back to what I was saying initially about Blacks in the Republican Party. And you said something, one of our callers, and I'm not sure if this is Jeffrey Bulls or not. He reiterated the words that he said here, but we're disillusioned.
Right.
We're dissatisfied. We're upset. We're frustrated. And so, as you said, we're selecting the lesser of two evils. Now, let me tell you what the problem is about this, my brothers and sisters, as you guys are listening. The problem with us choosing, and it's not just once in a while, right. We are always choosing the lesser of two evils.
And the easier path, which means we're not willing to do the work and go through the struggle.
Hold on. No. That's not it. We do the work. We go through the struggles. But the problem where we fall short, Rob, is that we don't plan to make, as we were talking earlier, we don't plan to make ourselves a prominent piece of legislation. Black lives, Black folks, Black finance, Black business should be a key piece of our legislation. We are unable to ever put together a strong core beliefs and values of what we are as a people, who we are. Some of us are still suffering from identity crisis, so who we are is still an issue.
We'll always be a fragmented people. We'll always be fragmented.
Absolutely. So we have to be able to demand some things, and we don't demand anything. I said this a while ago, and here we are coming into a midterm election cycle, and what we saw last night, and this is another thing that's funny. The other night when we saw Warnock and Herschel Walker, going at it, debating for the Georgia Senate, what we saw was them saying, okay, they got a Black man who's intelligent. Let's get us another Black man, and we'll let the Black man get the Black people votes out. And it's ridiculous. We are continually used as political pawns.
Yes.
We don't demand anything for what it is that we bring to the table. And unlike what many people say, Black people don't vote. Well, we're tired of dealing with the same old thing. You want to get a Black community out to vote. And I say this, people came out to vote for Barack Obama because they were inspired by an idea.
Right.
They were inspired by the fact that we could have a Black man actually ascend to the highest political office in our nation. And we have to keep in mind the power of inspiration. And we don't have candidates who are inspiring us for great things. And so he bought in, and he didn't do everything that we hoped that he would do. He didn't do some of the stuff that I would have just like, it's legal. I'm the president. I signed it by executive order. Let's give it up. Give us our 40 acres of the mule. He would have been impeached real quick. But the thing is, we have left the space of inspiring our people to believe that we can achieve, to believe that we can do more, that we can acquire more, that we can make great things happen. We don't have candidates that I find extremely inspirational, other than being the first Black candidate to do this. We set up and we build everyone's campaign agenda. You go and you look through all of these white politicians that are running for office, and when you look at them, there's going to be somebody in their camp that is focused on going after the Black vote. All the way across.
We've had Black candidates before. We've had a Republican, I forget his name, who passed away a couple years ago.
Absolutely.
And then I go back to Jesse Jackson. How many back in the 80s, I think it was, when people were so excited about Jesse Jackson running, it was the 80s or the 90s, but he didn't have the charisma. And then, of course, that was not the proper time. Then times changed, and that's why Barack Obama got elected the way he did, because there was, and of course, we're going against,
this is my thing, and this caller said it. One of our listeners said it best. No more symbolism. We need substance. We need policy.
Exactly.
And I said that to say this. So we're coming up into midterm elections, just a few weeks before the election season is here, Super Tuesday, for voting. And guess what? We still don't have any voting legislation changes. It's not that we don't have the ideas. It's not that there haven't been presentations of ideas. It's the fact that we as a Black people do not demand, no, we're not voting for another package to send billions of dollars to Ukraine. The Congressional Black Caucus, wake up, where you at? You need to wake up and say, listen, we're not voting for any more of your packages sending money to Ukraine or to anywhere else unless we begin to deal with these issues. Well, you're going to destroy, you're going to say, well, if that is, it is what it is. And so we've got to begin to understand that everyone else has a self-interest at the table. And we've got to be bold enough to say, hey, Black people matter. I know you want to wear your shirt, White Lives Matter. And I'm not even talking about a movement, White Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. I'm not talking about that.
Right.
I'm saying that Black people have value and we should know that we matter. And so I think it's important for us to, right, Jeff, get out of symbolism, substance, and policy are the key things that we need to talk about. Now, y'all didn't call me stuck there for a second, but I want to talk about a couple of things that I think are important. Texas police charged the ex-officer who shot the unarmed teen eating a hamburger at McDonald's. Now, Rob, I'm sure most people have heard this story. I continue to say, when deer season happens, there's a black man hunting season that also often seems to never really have an end to it. But we see another young teen, Eric Cantu, was with his girlfriend eating hamburgers in the McDonald's parking lot. And the officer, this young James Bernard or Brennan out in Texas, said that he thought that he had seen this. Now he's at McDonald's taking care of another issue that has nothing to do with this, but he thought that this was the same car that eluded him the day before. And so he, just because he has a badge, you give some certain folks badges who aren't used to power and aren't used to authority, and you put them in situations where they're sitting in authority over certain people, they think that you have no rights. So he goes over, he swings open the door. Now this is hood 101. You're not walking up to nobody's door and just pulling. I don't care what officer of the law you are. Pull the door open. The guy startled, and you see it in the pictures that were captured off. I think it's probably off of his camera. The kid was absolutely startled. He put the car in reverse or drive, whatever. He got away, wasn't driving toward this individual, but he took off. The officer continued to shoot at him, not one time, but multiple times. Now, this young man is in the hospital, and regardless of what you guys have heard, we've heard that he was in stable condition, but he's actually on life support. And so we have to continually, why do we have to continually do this? And people ask, why do black people and police officers have bad encounters? Because of things like this. Because we have situations, and Eric Cantu, I think he may be Hispanic. I'm not sure exactly what his issue is, but it's because officers of the law think that they are gods of the law. And this was a rookie guy. He was a young guy, and they fired him immediately for once they got the right response together, and it didn't take much time to get that done. What a shame. Scared the heck out of them. They certainly did. And I think that you and I, Rob, how would you respond if somebody just comes to you while you sitting in your car chilling?
You talking to a guy from Philly.
Come on, West Philadelphia, born and raised. Come on.
Right. I got that mentality, and I would have done the same thing as that kid did. I would have backed away. I would have said, and I would have been shocked.
But this is the thing that gets me, y'all. Listen to this, and some of us, and I know many people are going, what did he do? That's going to be the question.
Naturally,
we often try to find an issue or something to validate, what it was. Instead of saying, okay, this guy was seen the day before, something about his license plate not matching the car, this, that, and the other. There is no justification for this type of treatment by people who are supposed to protect and to serve. All right. I just want to say, hey, we are not okay. Thinking about that, I was just looking at some of the things that were happening out there, and I hope y'all are being wise and being smart as we move into holiday season. The drama gets real in terms of what people are trying to do. Both scams on TV, on social media, bank scams, but also violent things tend to happen because we are not okay.
Make sure you lock your doors when you're sitting in the parking lot, eating a sandwich, or just on the phone. Make sure you watch your back when you move into your car from the mall, whatever it is. Do everything you need to, and when you get into your apartment, your house, lock your door behind you. I mean, these things are not common sense. These things are sensible, period.
My ladies, let me tell you something. I believe in women's rights and women empowerment and all of those things, but we are living in a day and age where we are not okay. And I want to share this, and I just want to encourage our brothers to lean in for our sisters, lean in for one another. But we got to make sure that we are okay because of the crazy stuff that's going on. Is absolute. The violent nature in which things are happening is absolutely crazy. Stockton, California, they believe that they captured a serial killer, and I hadn't heard anything about this. Now I spent a lot of time out in Stockton, the Bay Area, out there working with the Warriors and Jay Rich and Draymond Green. But out there, they believe that they found a serial killer. Now he's killed 5 individuals, and they think that he was casing another person. Now this is what's crazy. Rob, when I saw this story,
that killed somebody he knew, right? This is recently, right?
He's been. There's 4 people that were connected and missing in connection with this guy, and so they thought that he was they were following him under surveillance, and they thought he was going in for the next kill. Now, the majority of the individuals he killed were men, and when I heard that, my first thought was, have you seen the Netflix series Dahmer?
No, and I have a reason why I don't watch that.
Okay, now I gotta say something to y'all people. I love my people. But if you can sit and watch the entire show, Dahmer's I got through season 1. I was like, this is some crazy stuff. I had to go back and just get cut those and just watch pieces of it. Niecy Nash, an amazing job. She did an amazing job. But it's crazy. But people are not well. So we got to make sure that we're looking out for one another. I believe that, hey, we are grown, but it's okay for you to call and say when you get in, I make my brother and my mom. We have this pact that if we're together or we're separated or we're out, if I get on the road and I'm driving to Flint, Michigan, I call and say, yo, I'm hitting Flint. Right. People are like, that's the only time. If I go to Bertram, I'm getting on the highway because there's so many things that are going on. And we've got to begin to bring back those good old plain village practices that we had so that we can make sure that we stay safe. And it's not okay. So out in Stockton, that's happening. Oklahoma, they find remains of 4 individuals in a river that was missing. They went out last time they were seen. They were left going bike riding. Mark Chastain, Billy Chastain, Mike Sparks, and Alex Stevens. They were all seen left going, then they start reporting them. Husbands, wives, they start reporting them because they showed up missing. Now they find 4 men in the river. This is becoming too casual.
Too common.
They're too common. There was another massacre that took place over the course of the weekend. We have to make sure that we are looking in. Parents, and I feel for parents who are raising kids right now because kids are going through that phase, especially teenagers. They're going through that phase where they want some autonomy. They want the ability to be free. They want to be grown, and it's a natural thing. But we are not living in Mayberry. These are not the days of your grandfather anymore.
And the black community is still shattered in such a way where we let our kids do what they want to do anyway. We're not the old school community where we say you can't go to some place or you have to be someplace at a certain time. Like you mentioned, if you're going to Flint, you stay at that village connection via phone or somewhere.
Absolutely.
You're going so that, well, Kareem's going to be somewhere. Find out how to reach him. Not because you want to get into Kareem's business, whatever. You just know where he is. In case, Kareem will be back here at his church on Sunday. Where's Kareem? Last time he went to Flint.
Yeah. I'm leaving a track record. Somebody tell you I just went. No, I ain't did nothing crazy. If I'm going, call the police. I'm gonna leave breadcrumbs. And so I want us to understand. And thank you, Kimberly Bulls, for tuning in. Jackie, Miss Days, she says people should not be afraid to report unusual things that they witness. And I'm glad you talked about that because, and this is not a part of where I wanted to go, but there is this concept of a no snitch code. We hit this once before, Rob, and I'm telling, we cannot sit back and see things happen in our community and you don't stand up, speak, and say something. And there's a difference between telling what's happening and what you see and what's happening around you than a snitch code. A snitch code means that we in this thing together. I get caught. I'm going to,
roll over on you.
I'm going to roll over on you. That's what a snitch is. And we get this thing twisted. We got the, snitches get stitches. But the fact of the matter is that you're not a snitch if you're seeing something that's wrong in your community. You see the perpetrators. You see what's happening. And otherwise, you are a part of the problem if you don't say something.
It's easy to snitch today because you got cell phones. Just send a text.
Man, we got videos, text messages. You ain't got to put your name in it.
Exactly.
I always tell my people where I'm going or if I change my course. Chargos is so important. And I hope that my listeners, my family, I hope you are listening to that basic advice. Let's begin to put calls in action, some programs in place, some systems in place with how we communicate and how we talk to one another and how we share information. I know that we are all super secretive these days and we want nobody in our business, this, that, and the other.
We're grown-ass men and women.
But the fact of the matter is we've got to be smart. We got to be wise. Right. And that's right. We better pay attention. Please pay attention to those very basic things because we are not healthy as a nation. And it's beginning to be very obvious. So something that came up, Americans are becoming less productive. Why, Rob?
The gross national product is dying? You mean, really? No kidding?
According to a story by NPR, a study by NPR, Americans are becoming less productive. And when we talk about productive, we're talking about how much stuff we as a nation actually produce. Right. What do we actually make? This has been the biggest decline since the government started back tracking this data in 1948. 4.1% decline in our productivity. Now, and this is on the year basis. So this isn't just COVID. This is a number of factors. And so one of the things that they mentioned was the fact that many of you are COVID burnt out. Is this true? Village, let me know. Are you burnt out from COVID? Oh, I'm saying this because a lot of people didn't have the right, especially in our community. They were closing down office buildings, but first line responders had to be there. So we're talking about restaurant workers. We're talking about nurses. We're talking about sanitation workers. We're talking about janitors. We're talking about those
broadcasting. We still have to be here.
Yeah, people who provide services, which tend to be our community. We're burnt out from it, and that's one of the things that they were saying. Lack of appreciation from your employers. I know nurses. Y'all should be hot as fish grease. Those of you who work in the medical health industry, because you guys were dealing with COVID, some of you getting COVID 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over and over again, and having to go back to work, not only dealing with your own personal sickness, but being concerned about your family, if there's children or a spouse. I can imagine the anxiety that must have existed during that time. And then to say, we're going to appreciate you. And they put signs out in front of the building celebrating you, or they bring you muffins and brownies for a celebration. When we think about these types of things, and we had all of this money, but none of this money really these
the pockets of people that deserved it.
Absolutely. We got multi-billion-dollar companies getting PPP loans illegally, but we're not taking care of our healthcare workers. Right. And for that reason, we are expected for the first time in a long time to have a serious healthcare crisis in terms of those people who are working in those professions.
Stress and stroke too, because we're replacing people who can't make it to work. If you don't make it to work, Kareem, that doubles my shift I have to do. Come in, I work 8 hours already, and I can come back again another work.
But it's crazy. It's crazy. They're already doing 4 and 10 or something like that. So we got to make sure. Now, one of our listeners out there, they dropped something real heavy, and I want to talk about this real quick. We're going to get into this really quick because I think it's important. We need to stop dating secretly.
Ooh.
Thinking your family and others are trying to get in your business. Someone may know something. Be wise. I want to say to everybody that's listening, you have been warned. It's funny because we don't do, before a woman or young male, you would bring that person to the family, introduce them to the family. And it wasn't just about you liking them or dating them, but the family needed to know who you was running around town with. Right. Where have our base values gone? What's wrong with, where are those base values? Because I was thinking, there was a young woman I was dating and we had dated almost a year. This is when I was back in college, and I finally met her parents, and her dad said to me, "So why do you want to meet me?" And so that's kind of where we are. Like, why do I want to? You should want to meet and find out who your daughter's spending time.
Well, that comes from just pride, though, because now we're in that era, that situation where you're in my business. Now I'm concerned about what you're thinking. So, for example, if I was dating somebody, I'm concerned about what my parents may say about the person I'm dating.
Why? Because your parents' opinion matters.
The parents' opinion matters. So a lot of people say, well, I don't want that to happen. I don't want them to judge me on that. So I'm not going to introduce my partner to my parents or to my family because they'll talk about them. And I'm concerned about that. That'll affect my mentality. So I'm not going to introduce that. That's why the whole secret thing happened. A lot of that happened because of the Dharma case. Because no one said anything. Because no one wanted to know we're gay or whatever it is.
I mean, and those are issues. But I'm talking about when you know who you are, you know what you're dating. Right. We're being ignorant. And that's the only thing that we can say. We are being extremely ignorant because we are now placing ourselves in danger. And I think that there's a thrill. And plus, you don't want everybody to know that you hooking up with people and linking up with people and you're meeting them on these social media platforms. I was talking with somebody the other day and they're like, "Hey, I'm going on a date." Like, who you dating? Oh, so-and-so. Where'd you meet? On Facebook? Meet. That's where you meet people. I'm like, okay, I get it. Yeah. But have you done your homework? Somebody says sitting online dating now. Dating, yeah, absolutely. So we got to be smart, family. We got to get, because I remember my parents used to say, "You ain't dating nobody till I meet them." Mm-hmm. There is no date until I meet them. We got to get back to those things, and it's not about being in people's business. It's not about elements of control.
It's about safety.
It is about safety, and it's about making sure that we are all safe and here for another day to be here. Okay, I got to say this, and then we're going to take a commercial break. Rob, I'm not letting it go. Brett Favre, we have not forgotten. For those of you out there, we have not forgotten about what's going on with Brett Favre. We say that justice is blind, and we want to see if that is actually true. Just a reminder to those out there in the community, those who have been through the penal system, those of you who have had written up on bridge card fraud, those of you who have back in the day loaned some of them red, green, and yellow dollars to somebody. If you have been a part of something, notice they were very quick to take you and try you and make you pay back. But here we have Brett Favre in here with this crazy multi-million-dollar scandal. He would rather make sure his daughter goes to, allegedly, a great school where they have a great volleyball court than young kids in Mississippi being able to eat. Shame on you, shame on you, shame on you, and shame on our system of government. Hey, it's a dirty shame. But shame on those systems if no charges are brought against him. The story just becomes more convoluted by the day. And what I mean by that is this. They have now seen text messages and him asking the question, "Are we going to get in trouble? Are we going to get caught? Are we going to get it?" Why do you ask that question? I mean, everything that you say, Stephen A. Smith, who drives me crazy, had every right to go in on Brett Favre.
ESPN, a commentator.
Absolutely. If this had been a black man, the judge and jury, they'd be, how long we gonna leave him in there for?
Yeah, throw the book.
Absolutely. So we want to make sure it doesn't seem to bother people if it didn't happen to them or anyone in their family. The police officer who was fired from the comment she made that if her child was in the school, she wouldn't have been out there. Like it didn't matter about all of the other children. I'm not sure what that was about, but I'm thanking you for that comment. And we're going to have a conversation. I'm going to bring my folks from the Mexican American Council over at the MAC, because we saw something happening in Los Angeles. And what we saw happen was city council women, Hispanic city council women, got caught on hot mics, recorded about some things and how they need to remove Black people from power. And this is an issue that I've known. We've talked about it some, Rob. We're going to bring Bobby in because we were talking. You were saying that you hadn't had a chance to meet Bobby De Leon, and Bobby is doing great work in the community. And he and I said, we're going to work on building stronger coalitions and relationships as it relates to Black and brown communities. But the fact of the matter is, we need our brown community to remain brown if they're going to be brown. We need them to understand that many of the pleasures and privileges that they've inherited are because of struggles that we have had as Black people. And we ain't hating on nobody. We love you, but don't get in there and change, because, Hispanics, a lot of them, when they get accepted, and this was intentional by the government, when they need to use some census numbers, they will be white when it's convenient. We don't have that option. When you see me coming 100 yards away, I am a Black man. And I don't have a problem saying that I'm standing up for Black people on issues that are important to Black communities. And we've got to be willing to do the same thing. Let's get those voting rights taken care of. I want you guys to tune in. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to be talking with Charles Dixon, a divine taste of Chicago. We're going to talk about small businesses and how they made it through. Stick and stay. Don't go away. We'll be back with more of Straight Talk.
You're listening to Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen on KISS 107.1.
Kick off your season with lower prices and exceptional trade-in values during the Kickoff Sell-Off Sales event at Showcase Mitsubishi Bay City. We have a great selection of new Mitsubishis and truckloads on the way. Are you stuck in your older lease? Showcase Mitsubishi Bay City wants to get you released, regardless of make, miles, or condition, so you can drive a new, more fuel-efficient Mitsubishi for less. Even if you've been turned down because of credit, Showcase Mitsubishi Bay City says come and get
We'll make an adjustment.
the home of credit forgiveness. And you can get pre-approved up to $30,000, no social required. Drive home a new 23 Eclipse Cross SUV, just $340 with the Showcase Mitsubishi 10-year, 100,000
What did you say?
warranty. Lower prices, exceptional
It's in the social media stream. I'll use it. Yeah.
only at Showcase Mitsubishi Bay City, the home of credit forgiveness and America's lowest priced SUVs.
39 months, 10,000 miles per year lease. $33.90 due at signing plus tax, title, license, and dealer fees. Zero security deposit with approved credit. Offers not combined.
Governor Whitmer knows that sometimes hardworking people just need an opportunity to get ahead. That's why she's fought to deliver policies that help improve lives in our community. She expanded childcare access and invested $17 billion into our public schools. She funded tuition-free community college scholarships to help folks finish a degree or improve their skills. Governor Whitmer, keep fighting for policies that create opportunity for all of us. Paid for by Put Michigan First.
Oh, hey, about to start a load. On hot? Washing in cold water with Tide can save you up to $150 a year on your energy bill.
What's that?
$150? The lower the temp, the lower your
No, he's from Saginaw. That's what's so interesting.
$15 when you bundle Tide and down. Energy savings based on
A divine taste of Chicago. Yeah, I got to ask about that because I was kind of like,
participating Tide or Dreft detergent item plus at least one participating Downy or Bounce scent booster, liquid fabric softener, or dryer sheet. Prepaid card by mail. Visit pglaundryrebate.com for terms and conditions.
You're listening to Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen on KISS 107.1.
This is Kareem Bowen. You're back with more Straight Talk. We want to get to you, no chaser, no filter. We're going to get right to the heart of the matter. We have with us in our social media stream, Charles Dixon, who is the owner and proprietor of A Divine Taste of Chicago. What's good, Charles?
Hey, how you doing?
We're doing well today, man, and I'm glad to have you with us. You got some people out there saying that your fellow Covenite Charles, Sharice Steele Phillips. Thank you so very much. But what I want to get to really quick, and for those of you, I just want to give a quick shout out before we get in this conversation. I want to say great job done, Rhonda Alexia Webb, for your awards gala and your kids symposium, recognizing young entrepreneur spirits with the keynote speaker, Gabby Goodwin. Yesterday, this took place. 15-year-old Anisha Stanley, wonderful job with Keys of Hope and what you did out there at the complex, bringing hope and life after loss. So that's really powerful. But we're here now with Charles. Charles, The name of your restaurant, we're going to start from the very beginning because the first thing that someone's going to ask is, oh, so he's from Chicago. Producer asked it already. The name of your restaurant, A Divine Taste of Chicago in Saginaw, Michigan. Please explain to us how we got this name.
Okay, A Divine Taste of Chicago comes from these sandwiches are traditional Chicago deli sandwiches. And the first part, a divine, meaning that I didn't really, my wife and I didn't really put this menu together. It was God inspired. So there you have it, a divine taste of Chicago. Give Saginawians a chance if they've never had an Italian beef or Chicago hot dog to taste those sandwiches that come from Chicago.
Awesome. We are now, I want to give you guys our number because what we're doing something new, and this is really an opportunity to engage and ask questions, answer, give your input, what you like to say regarding our topics. That number is 989-921-7107. Give us a call in. We want to know what's on your mind and if you have any questions for what we're talking about today. Amen. And if you're calling in, please keep your radio or other devices down in the back so that we don't get that kickback. But I want to talk. Okay, Charles Dixon, I've known you since I was a little kid. I remember we lived across the street from one another growing up. And so your family has always, your dad, Mr. Dixon, when he put those slabs on the grill, the entire neighborhood would smell of the goodness of ribs. So I want to know, basically, let's start from the beginning. First of all, Divine Taste of Chicago, we got the name, got inspired, but why food? Why did you want to go into the restaurant business when they say that most restaurants don't survive? Why would you want to take the risk to go into that space?
Well, it was an idea or desire, for lack of words, of my father. He always wanted to open a family restaurant. So, well, my wife Kathy and I, we were at my grandma's funeral. We went into one of his friends in Chicago's Italian beef shop, and Kathy tasted one of those sandwiches, and she said, "Wow, we got to bring this stuff to Saginaw." So that's how we actually got started in the food service.
And so you have now been able to, how long you've been in business?
Well, we had a restaurant back in '99. It started June of 1999 called Divine Interventions. It was over on Franklin Street next to the Savoy Bar.
I remember that.
And yeah, we opened that up, and it was a success somewhat. And we had to move our location around between the Temple Theater and the old Shriners Mansion. It's a Saginaw Club now, yeah. So we opened up there, and then we got kind of overwhelmed with business, so we closed down for lack of, I would say, for lack of experience in running something of that magnitude, a restaurant of that much with that much business. So we closed. Always just wanted a small operation where Kathy and I could run it, a sandwich shop. So the opportunity presented itself at the SVRC Marketplace. It's an excellent place, I think, for anybody who has a dream of opening a small business. That's a great starting point. It's inexpensive. And, all you have to do is have your dream in your heart. And I think the staff there, Rachel, and the other people that run that building can give you an opportunity to kickstart your business. Plus, there's other local government agencies available to help. Saginaw Economic Development is another one.
Charles, I want to ask that question. When you begin to getting into SVRC, because there's a lot of people out there that may be listening, and I hear this all the time. They can cook, they cook something well. Maybe they make tacos well, or they got the bomb burritos or whatever, and they want to go into business. You just mentioned SVRC Marketplace as being a place where people can really get into the market and begin to see if they have what it takes. Somebody said, Ralph Martin said, turkey. Ruben is excellent. So Ralph, thank you for that comment. But when you went to Marketplace, you said it's a great place. What made going into Marketplace, and I'm not doing free advertising, but I think that this is important as an entrepreneur to see where you're getting this help. What made it a great experience for you when you went into SVRC Marketplace?
Well, it was, you need a good place where you can a place that is supportive and that you can afford. Number one, it was very affordable.
Okay.
The rent there was very affordable. We don't have the pressure of taxes and utility bills and things like that. So again, all a person would need is their business plan on good track and a desire to stick in there and just get going. You just can't expect to become a millionaire overnight. I'm not saying that is not possible, but just have a good business plan and they'll give you a spot to camp out
Okay, so
until that
you
manifests.
had your business plan, and I know that SCDC does a great job of providing support in that space. Um, were there services that were provided that helped you with your walk into this new thing of entrepreneurship? Because you said the last time was overwhelming. This time, what made it different? What were the services that they were able to help you with?
Well, yes, I had, of course, a few friends that I got advice from. And with the business plan, went to the Delta College Business Center, and they helped us out tremendously. Now it's not there anymore. I think it's at Saginaw Valley SVSU. It's free of charge. You just go in and they kind of walk you through all of the step by step and getting a good solid business plan that you can present to a lender, and you can go from there.
Okay, so I want you guys to know that are listening out there that just, and we've talked about this before, just having a business name and going down and getting your DBA does not make you a recognizable business. There are other business documents that must be taken care of. You need to get your employee ID, your EIN number. With the state of Michigan, you need to add articles of incorporation. You've got to have bylaws for that business, how it's going to operate, what makes that happen. So, as you were going through, because I think what's cool, the food is amazing. Let's share a little bit about your menu, the types of things that you have offered. And I want people to know I didn't just single you out, but we were also talking, and this is what I loved about seeing you down at the marketplace. You guys were working together. I saw a lot of restaurateurs and entrepreneurs that were networking and having conversations and talking. When I talked to you about doing the show, you're like, yes, I would love this person to be on there. Falafel Hut, Honey's Tasty Taco, potatoes. I always say tacos because I will chase the woman down because she's got some of the best tacos around. But the t-shirt place, there were a lot of other businesses that are there. And you guys work together and you partner and you help one another. Tell me about what it's like. We are going through a pandemic with a restaurant.
Oh man, that was something very, very different. I'm gonna tell you, today I just don't know. Well, I do know how we did, and I took a lot of praying and a lot of consistency. The building closed, and we had to stay in touch with the owners of the building. The state mandated that the building be closed, but we just had to just stay on our starting blocks for the day when it opened, and then just be there for our customers, and that's how we survived the pandemic. And again, it took a lot of praying.
Man, I look at it. How have you been able to keep your staff? Because what I did notice, I go to a lot of places that are restaurants and serving food, and service is atrocious. One of the things that is so difficult is finding good help. How have you been able? Because I came over, I saw a brother who was clean. He was very organized and he looked neat in his presentation. So you guys are able to add people onto your staff. How have you been able to find good workers and good help? I think we may have lost some. There we go. Are you there, Charles?
Yes, I'm here.
So how are you able
Most
to
of
find and maintain good help in your space?
the people you see in our space are relatives. My sisters, my brothers, Kathy's sister, Pat, and recently we added two staff members, and they work for us in our well, the elderly gentleman you seen there, he worked in our restaurant 20 years ago, and he just walked in there one day and said, "Hey, there you guys are. You still at it?" And then we say, "Hey, we could use you." You know, this was during the outdoor event Friday Night Live, and we could, you know, we use the extra staff. But yeah, all of the people you see, most of them you saw are my relatives, my brothers, natural brothers and sisters.
Okay, so I want to for those who are out there that are interested in starting, there's a lot of fear. People have a lot of fear. Fear overwhelms them when they're getting ready to start a new business or they're venturing out, especially like I said with food. It's a hard sell. And you say that you've had other businesses, you've done the restaurant. What have you learned from your last opportunity to this opportunity? Share some of your failures so that maybe we can empower some people that they can learn from your mistakes.
Well, one of my biggest failures is listening to the public walk in and say, "You do this, you should do that, you should add this to your menu, you should do that." You've got to stick with your heart. You have to stick with what you know is best, and that what you can do. You know, yes, suggestions are welcome and well looked at, but again, well, that's one of the big ones. And then again, you just can't be afraid. You just have to get in there and know that you're going to make it. Be consistent and keep a smile on your face.
When you talk about perseverance, share with our audience when was the greatest time that you really found a need to persevere. Owning a small business is no small task. I'll tell you that as an entrepreneur myself. But when did you really have to persevere? Were there times when you said, you know what, I'm just going to give this up. I'm just going to stop. I know COVID is one of those months when they shut everything down, and then people are scared to come into a place because they don't want you breathing on them. How were you able? Did you really have to persevere? What was that moment?
Oh, that moment is pretty much now. I mean, with the economic conditions we're going through now with inflation, every time you look around, something is going up in price. You just can't keep passing that along to the public, given the demographics, of our business. We're located downtown. We cater mostly to the businesses around us, the people that work there, and nobody wants to pay $20 for a lunch, nowadays. So getting that balance in there with inflation and your customers, how much they would like to spend, that is a challenge that sometimes I say, okay, forget it. I'm gonna just go ahead and stay home and watch TV because after all, I am a senior retired person, both of us. But the just the love of doing it is what keeps us going. We love doing what we do.
Let me ask you that question. In terms of a follow up. Are you being faced with some very hard, and I understand you're saying yes, but are you in a position right now that inflation that is driving our economy, we're paying extra and higher prices for everything? Is it a real, and how are you managing that real impact for your small business?
All looking at the numbers, keeping track of every little dime we spend, man. And you wouldn't believe what you plan on making. Say, for example, on a certain sandwich in the beginning of your business plan, and then oops, here comes inflation, and it just at a such a fast pace. Everything's going up, 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 up. Every time you look around, you just have to keep track of that stuff and try to keep your quality there and prices affordable. It just it's a task, but it can be done. We have a sort of advantage because my wife and I, as far as keeping track of our money, are firm believers in God's financial plan for anybody that's available. So if we believe if we support the kingdom of God, that God will put money in our pockets when we need it. And that's just how I feel. I tried it, I'm not trying to be sacrilegious or religious. I tried it, it works. So that's how we make it.
That's a spiritual principle, man. It's not about being religious at all. And I'm so glad that you said what you said, because whenever you decide to do new business, whenever you decide to step out, you're stepping out in faith. It's a spiritual process, that you got to trust that there's someone greater and stronger than you that's going to help you through these tough times and be able to manage. Is this current situation with inflation, are these things impacting what's on your menu? Have you had to make changes to the food or the things that you provide?
Well, yes, it's impact us. You wouldn't believe we get this stuff through a distributor in Grand Rapids, and it comes from Chicago, and Illinois, the state of Illinois, and in the city of Chicago and the surrounding area itself. They make a little bit more money than people around here, and
Right.
Prices of things in their book is different from our book, so we're importing this stuff. These are imported products we are ordering in, and you would not believe how much they cost now compared to 3 years 4 years ago when we started. It's just unbelievable.
Okay,
But
let me ask you this
managed
question
to
really quick
still.
while I got you on here, because
Go ahead, go ahead.
time goes by so
I'm sorry.
fast. Have there been services, assistance programs, grant programs, dollar programs that are out there, that if our young entrepreneurs or individuals that are looking to get into the game, are there some things out there that maybe were a lifeline that people may be able to look toward for support? Have you noticed or have you heard of any of those?
Oh yes, there have been grants and loans that have been available. The thing about that is, when those assistance programs became available, it was like a first served basis, and unfortunately, some people got the information before other people, and some people got the money and before other people got it. And we were fortunate to get what we needed when we needed it, and not overwhelm ourselves with debt or uh, you know we just got what we needed. It was
Okay, no,
divine.
we ain't trying to get into a financial situation, but we're
Yeah.
just trying to, if there were programs out there that entrepreneurs may be able to go to, because I know there's a lot of people talking about they're struggling with inflation and keeping doors open. And, so we have to share that information, grant information, if there's money, funding sources, those types of things. As entrepreneurs, we need to share those things and those tips. What did you do when you needed to get funded initially for your business? Where did you find were the best places to go? Or
Well,
how did you, how did you go through that
lending
process?
our lending institution, because the money was funneled through reputable lending institutions. They didn't just throw it out there. So we were connected with a lending institution, and we got funded through the grants and the loans through them.
Okay,
There's
so
a lot of people that
what
have.
advice would you give them about finding seed monies for their business? You said that you went through a lending institution. I'm assuming that this is someone that you had a relationship with.
Well,
Like a
yeah,
bank
it
that you,
it was a local credit union. I'm not going to say who they are,
no,
but
absolutely. That's fine.
but and then Saginaw Economic Development Corporation.
So
Keisha,
SEDC was key.
yeah, Keisha Smith is a great person. She's very. You can talk to her because she's straightforward and she won't lie to you.
Okay, so someone that was looking to make sure that all of their ducks were in a row. Okay, they got a business plan, they got their EIN, they got their articles. Keisha Smith, you said, was a great resource at the SEDC. Do they provide those? Did she go in there and give you a checklist or tell you exactly all of the things that you needed? Where did you find that type of support for your small business?
Well, yes, Saginaw Economic Development has a packet that they give you, and you read through it, do your homework, and cross all your T's and dot your I's, and submit. And so, and if you if your heart is really in it, I would say it's going to be approved. You will be approved, but again, you have to have your heart in it. And I would advise anybody to take something that they love doing because it's going to take patience, it's going to take work. And it's not like the type of work where you just go apply for a job to get money. You're going to have to love doing what you do.
So to someone out there, once again, we were speaking to those future entrepreneurs, those who have brainstormed ideas of new businesses. You said they're going to have to love what they do. It is so vitally important. And I know that you love cooking, and that's something I've known about you your entire life. What advice would you give someone who's on the fence about going forward and starting their new business, starting a new restaurant, a pop-up shop, whatever it is? What advice would you share with them?
I would share this: get off the fence and make sure if that's what you want to do, be serious about it, because it could be that's a life-changing experience once you're.
Yeah, I think we lost him this time, but we certainly want to thank Charles. I know last time he popped in, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get back in this time, but I want to thank him. And what I want to say to those of you who are out there that are listening, this is a conversation that businesses all throughout our community are having. I was looking at what was going down with the Savoy, and we're looking at different businesses that have been staples in our community that are no longer really functioning the way that we are used to them happening, Rob. It's crazy coming from the pandemic and seeing not only the decline of the number of restaurants that are available, but also the quality of service that we're seeing from those restaurants. These are all an impact. Rob, I can't go to restaurants half the time because I'm crazy because the waits are so long.
Right.
So I just want to say to those of you who are out there, thank you so much, Chantel Harris. Hopefully this information helps someone else. I want you guys to be encouraged because what we're noticing, and you've got to make sure that you are aware of the times and the seasons and what's going on.
Let me interject something real quick here, Kareem.
Absolutely.
We need our customers to be patient, though.
Absolutely.
Everyone knows what's happening. If you don't know what's happening, you've been on the rock for the last 2 years. Be patient with the people in that store because if they're doing their best, they'll give the best service. If not, you're going to get people that are going to quit and they're just going to make the business worse.
And that's one of the reasons why that productivity number has gone down to 4.1%, and gone down the biggest in decline because people don't want to have to deal. Listen, I'm making, $12, $13, $14, $15 an hour. You're coming in thinking that you are the Queen of Sheba. I don't get paid enough to have to deal with this. And this is a very real thing. Charles, I see that you're back with us. I wanted to just give you an opportunity just to share a piece, a nugget of advice for someone out there that's interested in getting involved in the restaurant business. Okay, yeah, we're not hearing you, Charles. This is just 15 seconds of fame.
Can't get back. Here I am.
There you go.
You can hear me now.
Just a nugget of advice, a word of wisdom for someone who's interested in doing what you do.
Just be serious and do it. Go ahead and do it. Forget about the if this and if that. Just go for it. Do it with all your heart.
Thank you so very much for your time. That is a Divine Taste of Chicago. You can see them at SVRC Marketplace, along with a host of others. My girl Deb at Honey's Tasty Potatoes. Let me tell you about how good her tacos are. They were so good. She was closed one day, and I had to find out where she was. I was like, listen, Deb, I know you're at home. Come on, don't be like me, y'all. But, membership has its privileges. She made me tacos on the day that she was off. I felt so special. But there's a lot of those businesses, a falafel hut. What's the name of the T-shirt place down there?
What's Carla's place? Novelty Teas.
Novelty Teas. Get down there, check out all of those small businesses, those restaurants. One thing that I want to give you a bit of advice as we close out. I was out to eat a couple of days ago. I took my mom out to a restaurant in the area. We were sitting and we were eating and enjoying ourselves. And some of the food didn't come out properly. We were very poor service for what we were going to have to pay as the final ticket. And we were sitting there, we were kind of joking about the tip. And I thought that we had gotten a new waiter because our waiter hadn't been back since they came and gave us a glass of water. And so my initial thought was like, okay, you're gonna notice this in the tip. We are in a situation where we all need to lean in, and I think people need to be held accountable for their services. I gave a base tip because I understand that even the best of us have bad days, so I gave a tip. Don't go out to restaurants right now if you're not willing to pay a tip. If you're one of those people who don't like the tip, the help for coming, please stay at home. Please don't come. Don't go out to eat. Order your food to go, just so you don't have to do it. There are people who live their lives based upon these wages. I want to thank you, Charles, for being here. Divine Taste of Chicago. Those of you who are listening, thank you for continuing tuning in to Straight Talk. As usual, God bless you all. Take care of yourselves and each other. Grace and peace.
Peace.
You've been listening to Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen on KISS 107.1. The views and opinions expressed on Straight Talk with Kareem Bowen by the host, its